Good morning, everyone. I see we have a nice group this morning. I know I'm a little bit early. I'm going to go ahead and get my PowerPoint set up and we'll start promptly at 11 o'clock. So give me one moment. First, I want to make sure everyone can hear me okay. It's 11 o'clock on the dot. Can everyone hear me okay? Just put a yes in the chat if you can hear me okay. Let me make sure my mic is turned all the way up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Perfect. All right. Well, it is 11 o'clock on the dot. Um, I want to go ahead and get started because we do have a lot to cover in the 1 hour time frame. The first thing that I want to say about that is what we're going to be talking about, of course, is transaction desk, but I don't want you to get overwhelmed with what we're talking about. This is a introduction to the fundamentals of using transaction desk. We're going to walk through creating a transaction desk uh, a transaction together today. So please don't get overwhelmed. And I'm going to show you some great additional webinars that you can go to, also classes that you can attend with us and things like that. So don't get overwhelmed what we're talking about. Again, this is just a basic introduction class for you all today. All right. All right. So good morning. And I want to make sure you can see my slide real quick. Um, yes. Okay. Good morning. My name is Bernadette Tolan. I am a training specialist with Long Wolf Technologies. So I want to, first of all, thank you all for spending a little bit of time with me on this Friday morning. Um, sometimes Friday can be a challenge to have a training or a meeting because it's close to the weekend. So thank you for inviting me and spending some time with me this morning. We are going to be talking about transaction desk. And again, don't want you to get overwhelmed because we're going to talk about a lot in a little bit of time. Okay. Um, just before we get started with that, I do just kind of want to go over the Teams. A lot of folks might not be familiar with Teams. Lorenzo is saying you can't hear me, Lorenzo. Everyone else is saying they can hear me okay. How about if someone could a lot of times if you go out and come back in, you'll be able to hear. Okay, I'm seeing hands up. Are you guys putting your hands up to let me know that you can hear me, or do you have questions? Okay, you hear me. George can hear me clear. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and get started, and then no, you can't unmute. I'm about to talk about that in just a moment. We're going to go ahead and get started, and I am recording this. So taking a look at the slide that I just put up. Okay, thank you. You can hear me loud and clear. Perfect. Taking a look at the slide that I just put up, we are recording the session, and I will be sending that over as soon as I get it this afternoon. I will be sending that over to you guys as well. Um, Lorenzo, can anybody chat with him, or he's saying he can't hear. Um, I'm gonna tell him to try. One second. All right. George is telling Lorenzo to give him a call. Thank you, George. Someone else, Stacy's saying check your settings because everyone else can hear okay. So it must be something going on with his computer. All right. So again, the session is going to be recorded. It's recording right now. I will be sending that over to you guys and just as soon as I get it this afternoon. Um, Video and audio is muted, but that's why you can't unmute yourself. The way they have this set up is that automatically is video and audio is muted because we are recording it, and we want to have a pretty clean copy so that you will have the ability to listen to it again, and also be able to ask questions through the chat. And even when you listen to it on demand, when I send it to you, you still will be able to ask questions, even if you don't think of anything today. But if you listen to it again and you have questions, you can put that in the chat box. We will receive an email and we will respond to your questions within 48 hours. Generally, we respond a lot quicker than that, but we like to give ourselves 48 hours because we do a lot of training. So we don't want to say, oh, we'll get it to you right away, and then we're training all day and don't get an opportunity. Okay. She wanted me to mention that you should start using their platform after today. Alicia asked me to say a disclaimer that you should start using the platform after today, your transaction desk. Okay. All right. And I think they can see it in the chat as well, but I'm going to go ahead and mention that. Any questions? You guys have figured out how to use the chat, so put your questions in the chat as we go through. I typically like to answer the questions at the end of the session, because a lot of times some folks are catching on a lot quicker than others, and then they may have had an opportunity to take a look at it prior to, and they have questions about something that they saw or something like that. And I want to make sure we all stay on the same page. So don't think that I'm ignoring your questions or anything. I'm not. I just like to answer them at the end so that we all can stay together and on the same page as we go through. Okay. All right. So let me tell you what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to create a transaction together, right? We're going to create a listing transaction together. We're going to take a look at, after we create that transaction, we're going to take a look at the transaction summary information. We're going to talk about how to add parties, which is your customers, how to add documents and checklists. I believe your checklist is already created for you, but we're going to talk about that and take a look at that together. We're also going to set up a e-signing package using Athenasign. Okay, that is the e-signing that comes with Transaction Desk. So we're going to do that together. We're going to talk about making sure and preparing your documents for e-signing as well. That's going to be very high level, but there is a really, really great webinar. And again, I'll show you where you can access that will go in more detail about making sure your documents are set up. It's going to talk about all the little buttons and things like that we don't have time to talk about in this particular webinar today. And then, of course, the help resources. All along the way, we'll talk about the help resources available. So again, any questions that you guys have, please place them in the chat. I will get to them. And if we run out of time, no worries on that as well. If we run out of time and I can't answer all your questions, I will send an email. Okay. Someone else is saying, Alicia, can you send her a link? Victoria, she's saying she can't log in. So I will send an email with all of the answers as well. So even if we don't get a chance to answer all of the questions today, because again, I try to be respectful of your time, I will respond to them via email and you will get the answers to all of your questions. All right, so give me one moment. I'm going to stop sharing for just a second. And I'm going to bring that, let me move that out of the way. Bring you guys over here. I'm going to share again. All right, now, and let me move you guys over here real quick so I could again see your questions. All right. Excuse me. And also want to make mention, I'm getting over a cold. So if all of a sudden I go radio silent, I'm just putting myself on mute so I could cough. I don't want to cough in you guys' ear or anything like that. So just wanted to let you know that I'm still there. I just had to put myself on silent for a moment. All right. Before we get into Transaction Desk, I want to talk just a little bit about what Transaction Desk is. And you probably already know, but again, I like to make sure that you know exactly what Transaction Desk is. Basically, it is a digital system that you can access from any computer. okay, from any tablet. We have, there's a, you can go to your iPhone or your, you know, I have an iPhone, so if you Google Play, if you want to do that, you can download the app as well. So you can access Transaction Desk from anywhere, right? Basically, what Transaction Desk will do, it provides you with an organized system that houses your forms that you need for your transactions, houses documents that you may need for your transaction, your signings, your transaction details, and it integrates information directly from your MLS as well. So when you select your MLS and attach it to a particular transaction, it will auto-populate the information that you need in regards to that particular transaction as well. So basically, with this digital system, it saves time, it automates the transaction process with your documents and your forms, and it's really like it becomes like a plug and play where you can, no matter where you are, you can go ahead and complete a transaction when necessary. Now, to log into your transaction desk, you can log in from the URL. It would ask you for your user ID and your password, right? And then you put that in there, and then you will log into your transaction desk. There's always a, if you forget your password or anything like that, or your user ID, you'll be able to update that as well. Now, I'm going to, excuse me, I'm going to, this is actually your transaction desk. I'm using Jennifer's here, and I will delete everything that's here after we complete our training together, okay? Now, uh, what we're looking at right now is your agent dashboard, okay? And there's a lot of information on your agent dashboard. I'm not going to go over everything here today because our whole thing is to create a transaction together. However, I do want to make mention of this. If you have access to your transaction desk and you look at it and you say, hey, this one's different than what I have, it could be because everyone has the ability to click on this lock right here. When you click on that lock, you can actually customize what you want to see on your dashboard, on your agent dashboard, which is pretty cool. Once you get really familiar with Transaction Desk, you will know exactly what it is that you want to see on when you open up your Transaction Desk, right? So like right now, we have transactions, we have forms, we have documents, but there's so many other things that you can bring down here to actually have on your dashboard. Now, the blue, I'll just tell you real quick, the blue that you see here, the blue widgets, uh, those are going to be actual things that you can do, like create a transaction or start a signing. The green widgets are going to be a summary, right? A summary of things like my checklist or documents that have been rejected because I need to do something with that, or if I'm missing a document or something like that. So that's going to be a quick summary of those things, all of the green widgets. But the blue widgets are going to be things that you can actually do very quickly. Okay. Now, once you bring down the ones that you want, you would come over here and click on the lock again, and it locks everything in place. So I did want to make mention of that, just in case you're looking at this and saying, hey, hers looks a lot different than mine. No worries on that, because she may have customized it. Okay. Now, to create a transaction, you can do that in several different ways. You can use the widget, which is what most folks do, okay? They click on create transaction right there. Because it will quickly open up the window for you to do that. You can come over here to this particular widget and go to transactions. It will take you to your transaction summary screen, and you can add a transaction that way as well. And the other option you have is this house right here. You click on that, and it will again take you to your transaction summary screen, and you will be able to add your transaction. So whichever way you feel the most comfortable, please go ahead and select that option. I'm going to go ahead and click on create transaction. No matter which way that you decide, this is what's going to come up, create transaction. Okay. The first thing that it's going to ask you to do, and notice right here, you have two mandatory things right there. Okay. You have to name it. All right, you have to give the transaction a name. Now, I'm going to tell you what we recommend, but I always advise to check with your broker or your admin because they may have a different naming convention that they want you to utilize. So, from our perspective, we always say if you're working with a seller, you can enter the address of the property. Right? If you are working with a buyer, more than likely you don't have the address of the property yet, right? But you want to get their information in here. So you can enter their name and then later on come back and add the property information in there as well. So again, check with your brokerage to see exactly what they want you to, the naming convention that they want you to utilize. And I just found this on Zillow this morning. So let me put this in here. Yes, I know this is where you guys are. 326. All right. So we're going to utilize this. I'm going to delete it afterwards. Now, let me talk a little bit about template. Now, that is mandatory. You guys have to select a template. Okay, which is great because your broker admin have already added the templates in here for you. So this is going to save you a lot of time. So basically what a template is a preset collection of the forms that you need. They may have documents in there as well. And the checklist, right? The to-do list that you need to complete when you select that particular transaction that you are creating. So this is going to save you a lot of time because they've already created this for you, so you don't have to try to go through the forms and find the right forms that you need for that particular transaction. So in this case, I'm just going to say single family listing right here. Okay, I'm going to select that. And now when we get to the form section, you will see all the forms that I need for this will already be there. The next thing that you have is add me as. How are you related to this particular transaction that you are creating, right? Are you the listing agent? Are you the selling agent? Are you neither or are you both? Maybe you have both sides of the deal, okay? So you would put that, select the information that you need in there, okay? So I'm going to select listing agent. Now notice this right here, okay, is checked by default. Okay, use the wizard. So there's a 5-step process when you create a transaction. Okay, and using the wizard will take you through that process step by step. That's why it's automatically checked by default. Now, some folks, after they've used Transaction Desk for a long time, they uncheck it and they know exactly what it is that they want to do. That's perfectly fine. We recommend that you leave that check because even if you know exactly what you need to do, it's always great to let it walk you step by step. All you have to do is hit next, double check everything, hit the next button to go to the next step. So once you have everything that you need in here, then you want to go ahead and click that create button. Okay. Also, guys, make sure you check the chat because I believe Jennifer is putting information in there. So as I'm saying, hey, this is what we say. However, we recommend that you check with your broker admin. She's putting information in there for you guys to utilize as well. All right. So now I am on, remember I said it's a 5-step process. So see right here, it says step 1 of 5. I'm on details. Okay. So now I want to go ahead and put in my information. It's asking me for the street number. So let's put in our street number right here. It's asking me for the street name. Okay. So we want to put that in. It's asking me for the city. Okay, and then my state, and then my zip code. So we're at 33326. Okay. Now I can go in and put in all the other information that I have as well. You want to put in as much information that you have regarding this particular property. So over here, I'm going to put in that this is a single residential property, right? You would put in your MLS number. You can put in the year built. All of that information you can put in here. Down below, your listing information. So let's put in the price for this particular property. And I'm just making up a price. I don't really All right, so we're going to put in my list price for this property right here. Anything else that you may have, you want to put that in as well. Make sure that you also include what's going to stay with the property and what's going to go with the property, right? Because you don't want to, when you're taking your buyers by and they think, oh, this brand new stainless steel refrigerator is included. Make sure you put down here, nope, that's not, that's excluded, right? But maybe the hot water heater is going to be included. So make sure you put that type of information there as well. You will always come back and put in your purchase price. We're not going to have that right now because we are creating our listing together, right? So I'm going to go ahead once I'm have the information that I have right now, I'm going to go ahead and click my next button. Now that takes us to step 2 of 5. Okay, that takes us to step 2 of 5. So here is where we're going to put in our transaction dates. Okay, so right here where it says list date, we're just going to put in today's date. I can't believe it's already April 25th, right? So we're going to put in our list date. Now, this is another one that I always recommend you check with your broker and admin to with the expiration date, because I work with some brokerages that say it's 6 months, right? And it's 6 months from the day. Or I work with some brokers that'll say, no, we go to the end of the month or something like that. So please make sure that you check with your broker to see the exact date that they want you to utilize. So I'm going to say 6 months, which would be, I think, October 25th. So I'm going to put that in here. So you put in the dates that you have right now, and then you go ahead and you click that next button. Okay, so here is step 3, which is my contacts. Okay, so it already has my listing broker. It already has Jennifer as the listing agent. That's already in there. But this is where you want to add your contacts. Let me go ahead and say no thanks. So right over here with this plus add button, I click on that plus add button. I can create a brand new um, I can create a brand new transaction contact. I can add an existing contact. So if I already have that person in my database, I can go ahead and add them. I can add myself if I'm not already added, or I can also add a contact from Google. Those are my options. So let's go ahead and create a new transaction contact together. It pulls up this screen right here, and then there are 3 things that you have to add, okay? 3 things. The type, so who is the person that you're adding to this particular transaction right now? We're going to say seller, but notice all of the options that you have available. Okay, so for our purposes today, we're going to say we're adding the seller right there. Okay, I have to add a first name and a last name. So let's add Ellen right here, and let's add um, her last name. Okay, those are the 3 things that you have to have, and then I can go ahead and save my contact. Okay, now we do recommend that as soon as you can, you go ahead and get a email address, especially if you're going to be utilizing the e-signing, and of course you want to be able to email your contact out of the system as well. So try to get that email address as soon as you can. It's not a requirement to save the contact, but try to get it as soon as you can. Also notice on here you have like the legal name, their preferred signature, their preferred initials. That legal name is going to be, I'll give you a great example. You know, we have a lot of folks that go by Bob or Bobby, but their legal name is Robert, right? So that's what you have to put in that spot right there, because that's what we need to have in their paperwork is their legal name, regardless of the fact that they go by Bob or Bobby or something like that. The preferred signature, again, you don't have to have that at right away to save. Let's give her information, but if you have it, you can go ahead and put that information in. Okay, her preferred initials. She may be like me. Whenever I put my initials, I put my middle initial as well. Okay, and then if you're creating a new contact, do you want to go ahead and add them to your address book? More than likely, yes. So this is checked by default. Okay. So again, you don't, these are 3 things you have to save the contact. You have another tab right here, which is the address. If she's staying at the same property address that you're listing right now, go ahead and check that and it will auto-populate for you. Okay. Now you can put in her cell phone number, her phone number, her fax number, things like that at that point as well. This little icon, and you'll see this throughout the system on different pages. This is a how do I, where you can click on that and it will it's usually no more than 3 minute video will come up and it will walk you through the steps of what you need to do there. Okay, so if you forget and you see that you know, computer monitor right there, click on it and it will walk you through 3 minute little video. Sometimes it's even less than that, and it will walk you through that process. Once you have all the information about that contact at that point in time, go ahead and click that save button. Okay. Now I've added Ellen as my seller. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and click my next button. Okay. And so now it takes me to step 4 of 5, which is my forms. Now remember, you guys have to select the template, right? So your forms are already here. Again, saving you a ton of time. Otherwise, if your templates weren't created and you hadn't created it yourself, you would have to click on this plus add button. It will bring up all of the forms that you have available for you, and then you would have to click find that form and add that form. But this is already there for you, so you don't have to worry about that, which is great. Now, I do want to talk just a little bit about the difference between a form and a document. Okay. Um, a form is generally already provided for you by your broker, your association, your board. And the great thing about the forms is that they have already been reviewed for compliance. Okay, so which is going to save you, and all the parties involved legally because they've already been reviewed for compliance. You can't say, I'm going to go to Microsoft Forms and create my own form and add it here. You cannot do that. So if there's an update to a form, anything by the board or anything, they have to send that over to our forms team and, it has to all be reviewed for compliance and then they can add it. But you can't individually just say, oh, I'm going to create this form and add it. It's The reason is because these forms have already been reviewed for compliance to protect everyone legally. Okay. Now, once you see your forms are already right here, you click that next button and that's going to take you to your documents. Okay. So you guys have some documents already out here as well, but you could also add your own document. Excuse me, one second. All right, you can also add your own documents in here as well. And again, this is going to save you a lot of time that there's some documents already added in here for you. But if you needed to add a document, because a document is going to be any other type of documents that you may receive from your contact. It could be something like a scanned receipt of a deposit check. It could be a lawyer letter, anything like that. It could even be listing photos that you want to add to the transaction. You can come right over here, click this plus add, right? And there's all sorts of ways that you can add a document to the transaction. You can upload it from your device. You can copy it from Dropbox. You can import it from a third party. They may email it to you into the transaction as well. So you can provide them an email address. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. You can also upload up to 20 files at one time. Okay, if you needed to do that. When you click on that, let's find a quick document that I can add right here to show you. I want to add, let's say I'm going to add a down payment receipt. Okay. See how quickly it added that document right there for you to take a look at. So there, that document is quickly added. Now I'm done with all 5 steps through the wizard. Okay. And then when I click on this done button right here, now I am at what we call the transaction dashboard for this particular transaction. Okay. And notice again, we have some widgets down here. If I click on the lock right here, it will allow me to customize my transaction dashboard. If you do that, you're only customizing it for yourself. However, whatever you bring down here is going to appear for every single transaction in your transaction desk. Okay, so again, you'll have the ability to customize your transaction dashboard. Make sure that you lock it so that it will stay in place as well. Okay, now once you're on your transaction dashboard, it has its own navigation, which we're going to go through in just a moment. I can come over here and add a photo. So let's add a quick photo right here. So I can add a photo of the home very quickly right there. I can, still adding, I can come over and review everything right here. And right here at the top, real quick, this email upload, let me click on that envelope real quick. Each one of your transactions has their own individual email address that you can share with your client, right? And or whoever you need to share it with. And if they need to email something, you can give them this email address and it will email the document straight into their particular transaction when you utilize this email address. Now, it may look the same, all right? You may be like, wait a minute, all of the email addresses look alike, but they're not. It could be something as simple as instead of it being 7013, it might be 7012, right? So each transaction has its own individual email address that you can share. And then when they email, when they utilize that email address, it automatically comes into the documents section into their particular transaction. Okay. Now, over here, dashboard, I could be anywhere on any here and it's going to bring me back to my dashboard. My details is going to take me to the detail screen that we utilize with the wizard. So let's say I needed to come in here and I want to put in the year built as an example, right? And we're going to say this home was built in 2015 as an example. I want to add some other things in here. Once I add everything that I want to add in here, I go ahead and click this check mark, which is the save button, to save it. Okay, and now that has been saved. So I can come in here and make updates to anything that I need to on this transaction right here on the details page. My contacts, all right, so we know we added Ellen, but I can still add contacts here by clicking on the plus add. And then again, I can create a new one. I can add existing, I can add myself, and I can add a contact from Google. I'm going to add another contact just because I want to show you something in just a moment. So I'm going to add, Jackson. Okay. And I'm just going to give the same email address for now, it's just because, again, I want to be able to share something with you. Mm, okay. And JL. All right. Again, the address right here, I just checked that and it auto populates for me. Again, we have the how do I right there, and I'm going to go ahead and click save. So now I've added Ellen and I've added Jackson, okay, who's also a seller. Okay. Now, a couple of things I want to show you on this as well. So over here, if I put a check right here, it goes into the basket. When I click on that basket, I can delete her information right there if necessary. Okay. The other thing that I can do with the three dots right here next to each one, I can edit my contact. I can email them right out of the system right here. I can email Ellen, and then right here I can delete. Now this activate client dashboard, I'm just going to speak real quickly about it. What that would allow you to do, let's say that Ellen is one of those customers that really want to be in the know. I want to know what's going on. I want to know what's going on. You can click this Activate Client Dashboard, and you will be able, I'm just going to click it real quick. You will be able to grant her access to certain things, right? And it will actually create her own transaction desk that she can log in. It will send her an email with her information that she can log in and view property information, whatever you give her access to, view documents, view tasks, different things like that. Okay. Also, if you decide to utilize this, you would need to give it an expiration date. You don't want her to have access to this for, forever. So you would need to give her expiration date in regards to how long you're going to give her, grant her access to be able to log into her own mini transaction desk. Okay, so that's what that is right there, this Activate Client Dashboard. So I wanted to make mention of that so that you guys would be aware. Okay, now underneath my contacts is my forms. Your forms are already here. Okay. If you put the check there, put it in the basket. You can send it to Athenasign. You can copy it. You can download it in zip file. You can print it out. So different things that you can do right there. You can email it out and different things, right? Click on the three buttons, all sorts of things that you can do right here as well. Okay, but your forms are already here, so nothing you really need to do with that. Your documents, again, it allows you to add additional documents that you may need right there. But I do want to make mention of the submit button that we're looking at right here. So you have these documents, and notice there's a submit here, submit there, submit there. You have these documents and you want someone to be able to review the document before you send it over to Athenasign and have it sent to your client and everything like that, right? So what you can do is say, hey, I want to go ahead and I want someone to review this. You would click on the submit right here, and it's going to ask you, well, what document or what forms do you want to send over to um, be looked at, right? And you see that some are mandatory that you would need to submit. And we're going to take a look at that in the checklist in just a moment. But you would just go ahead and select what you want to go over and submit to be reviewed, right? So once you do that, then I'm just going to check one right here just to show you, all right? And I'm going to hit the submit button. So when you do that, it changes to this right here, right? Which is a watch to let you know it's on the clock, basically, right? You submitted it like you were supposed to. Now you're waiting to get something back from the review, whoever the reviewer is, whether it's the broker admin, maybe you have a team that looks at it. So you're waiting to get something back. So what I'm going to do real quick, just to show you this, I'm going to go right over here and I'm going to change this to the broker view, right? So what the broker would need to do from the broker view would need to review that particular document. So let me add this, bring this down real quick. And again, I'll change it in just a moment when I get done with this. So they will be able to see that this particular document is waiting to be reviewed, right? They can review the document, go to document review, they can review the document and everything, and then they would either, if they needed to change the transaction status or go to the transaction or go to the checklist or anything like that. But basically, they would take a look at the document and they would either approve it after they review it. So they would either accept it or reject it, right? So maybe they looked at it and they saw that, oh, the document, the let's say the date was incorrect or something like that. It could be something simple. Okay. So they accept it or they rejected it, right? And I'm going to go back over to my agent view, and then let's go back to our transaction. Okay. And then look at our documents. Now, instead of you seeing that clock, the watch right there, you're going to see the thumbs up, right? Which means that it's been approved and you're good to go, right? So once you click that submit button and it's reviewed, you will either see, if it's approved, you'll see a thumbs up. If it's rejected, you will see a thumbs down. Okay. And then that means that you got to take, and when you click on it, the thumbs down, you'll see they have to leave a note as to why they rejected it. You will see that, and then you will go ahead and make your improvements, and then you can upload it or do whatever else that you need to do. Okay. All right, so that's what you're going to see here underneath your documents, where you're going to submit those documents for review. They're going to review it, and then it's either going to be a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Okay, so that's your documents. Checklist. Again, you guys will see your checklist is already done for you, which is great. Which is great. So here you see everything that's mandatory that you need to make sure that you attach that document, and it can be reviewed or whatever else that it needs to take place here. But your checklist is already done. Now, one thing that you can do right here is click this plus add, and you can add a simple checklist item, something as simple as a quick task that you want to make sure that you add. It could be something like attach lockbox, right? And again, your checklist is your to-do, everything that you need to do. You can go ahead and add it to the checklist if you want to, or you could say, no, don't add it to the checklist. That's up to you. But you can go ahead and do that. And then you could also, it's going to also add it as a task. Attach checklist. Oh, okay. And then you can also give it a due date, your task, right? If you want to relate it to the transaction date, then it's going to ask you, is it before, on, or after? So I may say after, and it's going to ask you, well, how many days, right? And I'm going to say maybe, I'm going to put 5 days in here. 5 days after list date. Okay. And you can also set up a reminder for yourself. Right. And I'm going to go ahead and notice there is a how do I, and it will walk you through all of these different things right here. I'm going to go ahead and hit that save button. So now I have added my attached lockbox, and I didn't add it to the checklist because I want to delete it because you guys have already created your checklist. But that's why I didn't add it to the checklist, because I'm going to go ahead and delete it after our training today. Now, underneath my, going back over here to my dashboard, my navigation, I have my task right here. It's automatically added right there, 5 days after list date, right? That I want to go ahead and attach a lockbox. I can go ahead and add other tasks right here. I can look at it from a calendar view and so forth. Your call log. This is another great one that you guys may find really helpful as well. Everything is not going to take place, right? Everything is not going to take place with an email. You're gonna talk to your clients on the phone as well, right? So this allows you to create that call log so that you know and document every time you have a conversation with your contact. So what all you have to do is click on the plus add and then the caller, right? So we're going to say Ellen. My subject could be lockbox. And notice here you have 20,000 characters. So you can wow out right here and put everything that you guys talked about. Okay. So that way, again, you are fully documenting any conversation that you have with her about the transaction. Okay. And then you just go ahead and hit save. Okay. So again, it's great to be able to document any conversation outside of email, to make sure that everyone is aware of what we actually talked about. You can have that information right here within your transaction. Your history is really cool as well, because this is going to show you everything that you've done, the time, who did it, who, who it was changed by, and so forth. So you'll be able to see that. So I really like the history right there as well. Okay, your closing services, this is where you can utilize your own service provider right here by clicking this plus add in regards to your closing. The type is, was it appraisal, financial, home inspection? You could put, again, documenting all that information in your transaction as well. And then your integrations, these are, this is showing the Cloud CMA that we are integrated with that you can utilize if you want to link, if you're already using it and you want to link Cloud CMA, you can do that. If you want to learn more, you can learn more about it as well. Okay. Now, one thing that I did skip was signings. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but I skipped the signings right here because I wanted to go back and talk about your signings. So once you're ready to sign off, right, to get signings done by your contact, you would, for this particular transaction, all right, you will be able to click on the signing button and it's going to bring you right here. Okay. And then you would click the plus add, right? And it's going to ask you to name it. Okay. So let's name it. And then I'm going to click save. When you click save, it opens up in an entirely different window for you. Okay. And we do have some little guided walkthroughs for you there as well. But this is our Athenasign that we're looking at right now that comes with Transaction Desk. Okay. It is pretty user friendly. All right. Again, once you get accustomed to it, you'll be like, okay, this is pretty good. This is pretty easy to utilize. Okay. Now, once you get in here, you're going to see three sections. You're going to see your signers, you're going to see your toolbar right here, and you're going to see where you're going to add your documents and your forms. Okay. Now, I usually like to start with my signers. So right here, I go over to add participants. I can add myself, I can add new, I can add from transaction, and I can add from contacts. I'm going to say add from transaction. I click on that. I click on that and notice that it automatically has the listing broker. It has Jennifer as the listing agent. It has my two sellers, right? Ellen and Jackson. All right. So all, because that's who I have on my transaction. So I'm going to select Ellen. I'm going to select Jackson. And I'm also going to select Jennifer just for our purposes today. I'm just going to go ahead and once you click the select button, they will be added to the transaction. Now, one of the things that I want you to take note of is right here, and I'll go back and click on her where you can make changes right here to maybe you notice you misspelled her name or something like that, and you need to update her information. You can do that right here and click on update, and it will update that transaction contact. But what I want you to also take note of is the signing type. Ellen is a remote signer, right? We are going to be sending it to her so that she can sign it digitally. Okay, so that's what we want to have for her. But you do have three options: remote signer, reviewer, and CCer. Okay, your remote signer is going to be like Ellen and Jackson. It's going to go to them so that they can sign it. Your reviewer is going to be someone that you're going to send it to. They're going to review it, right? And you may want to send it to the reviewer before you even send it to the remote signer, but they're going to review it and they have the ability to accept or reject, right? And again, it could be something simple. They saw the date was incorrect or something like that. Maybe it was a misspelling. They can review it and reject it and send it back to you. Your CC person is the person that's going to receive it after it's all signed. They don't have the ability to accept or reject. Okay, so you want to make sure that Ellen is a reviewer, right? Then you could take a look at Jackson as well. He's a remote signer as well. Ellen is a remote signer. And then let's just make Jennifer a reviewer here, right? And then we go ahead and click save. So now I have my Signers all set. Now notice right up here it says set signing order. Basically, this is toggle off. So basically what that means is when my contact receives the email, okay, whoever opens it and they can start signing and so forth. But if I actually set a signing order, right, then that means that if I want Jennifer to receive it first, she's going to receive it first, like we have it right here. And then if I want Jackson to receive it second, all I have to do is come over here and change the order. Okay, so now after Jennifer reviews it, right, and she okays it, then Jackson is going to receive the email. He's going to open it. He's going to have to completely finish signing before Ellen will even notice or even receive notification about signing the documents. Do you have to set a signing order? You do not. Okay, but if you prefer to do that, you can certainly do that. Just be aware that when you do that, they won't receive anything, any notification, any email until whoever receives it first completely finishes doing whatever they need to do, then they will receive their email. Okay. Now, next we have the toolbar, right? So we already got our signers right here. You have your documents. You can check it right here with documents, or you can come over here and add your documents and forms. It doesn't really matter. It's going to open up, and then all you would need to do is select the documents that need to be attached to the transaction that's going to go to your sellers, right? So I'm just going to select one or two for our purposes today. Okay. Um, let's go ahead and I'll just select this one as well. Okay. And let's just select this one. All right. So once you select the documents, and you can still upload or import your documents in, you can select add it from your files if you needed to do that as well. And then you go ahead and you hit the close button. Okay. Now, you again have the ability to change them into the correct order that you want it to be. Okay, so if I wanted the seller property disclosure to go before the exclusive right to sell, then all I would have to do is click, drag it into the right spot that I wanted it to be in. Okay, if I needed to make some changes, I click on the little arrow right there, and I can go in here and replace the file, and I can drag and move pages around, all of that, if I needed to do that. Okay, I can delete pages out of there if I needed to do that. More than likely, you won't really have to use that often, but if you needed to do that, you will be able to do that. Okay. Now, one of the things I want you to take note is all of our information that we put in is automatically added right there. See, so we have Ellen, we have Jackson automatically added. Okay. The boxes on your forms are automatically added as well, where they need to initial, right? Where they may need to sign, that is automatically added right there. Any boxes that they need to check off and things like that is added automatically for them to be able to do. Okay. Now, where your tools come into play, so in these cases, you guys don't have to add anything, okay? But let's just say that you had a document that didn't automatically have where they needed to do things. So let's just use this one as an example, right? This is where your tools come in. So right here, if I just want to make sure they understand, it says print name, it says signature, but if I just want to make sure that they understand, notice right here we have Ellen. So I'm just going to make sure she understands that she needs to sign right here. I can put that right there, right? If I want her to initial something, I can drag that over here, right? You have all of these different options that are available, text line, check boxes. Again, we don't have time to go into all of those. However, we have a webinar, and I'll show you exactly where that where you can go. But we have a webinar where he goes through each and every item right here, like your markups, your lines, your freehand, your strike through. He goes through everything underneath your tools. Okay, so one of the main things I want to make mention of is that this is what Ellen. If I want to also add Jackson, I have to click on this drop down, select Jackson, and then bring it over so that he knows that he needs to put his signature right here. And he knows he needs to put his initials right here. Okay. Now, if you have a document and you brought everything over where you need them to sign or anything like that, and you've done a lot of work to it, you don't have and utilize this document in every listing transaction, anything like that. That's where that layout comes into play. So once you bring everything, you have your tools, you have everything set up, you can go over to this layout right here. And then right here, you can say create layout. Okay. And then what it's going to ask you to do is give it a name. Change form. So you give it a name. Here, I can't even spell today. Put my N in there. You give it a name and you click create. The purpose of doing that is that now everything that you laid out on this particular form, every time that this particular form is included in this transaction, the layout is going to be there so that you don't have to drag it over each and every time. So basically you have created a form where all of the boxes and are already created for you. And when that particular document comes up, you just come over here to your layouts and then you click apply layout, and it's going to apply exactly where you placed it on that particular form in that new transaction. Okay. If you needed to make any changes, you come over here and you click on manage layout, you select the one that you need to do, and then you go ahead and modify the layout, or if you want to delete it, you can delete it out as well. Okay, so that is the purpose of the layout. Once you have brought over all of your tools that you want to utilize in that particular document, you can go to your layout, save it, and create it, and then it's available for every time you use that document in a transaction. Okay, next you have your options right here. This is where you can change your signature, right? So in this case, I can change out my font right here. I can draw it if I prefer to do that, or I can upload my signature in here as well. You can also tell it to remember you for future signings so that you don't have to do that each and every time. Your signing details, this is where you can change out your signing details. So if you had put in a person's name or something like that, you can come right here and change that out as well. Okay. Your expiration date, you can give an expiration date to your client. So if you have a client that procrastinates and when it comes to like signing things or something like that, you can include in the email that they're going to receive an expiration date. Now, be aware that this will automatically default to a month in advance. So if you don't want to wait that long, you would go ahead and click on that drop down, and maybe you're going to give them to next Friday the 2nd, right? And so on their email, it's going to say, hey, this is going to expire on 5/2 at 11:59, right? And then you can click on save changes. Do you have to do that? No, you do not, but you can do that. You can also send them reminders, right? So again, if you have that client that procrastinates, then you can go ahead and set up a reminder to send them, every day at a certain time, right? So that's an option that's available for you as well. Okay. You can change out where the Athenasign ID is going to be positioned, top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. Okay. You also, if you did use any of the signing fields or action signing fields or any markups, you can clear them all at one time instead of going to each one and deleting it, so that you can easily clear that. Okay. You can also provide feedback. Now, once you are completely done, you can either print it out, you can download it, you can save it, but you want to make sure that everything is completely done right here. Okay, then you will click on your next button. Here's where you're going to see when it's going to expire, right? Because I did set that up. I didn't set up a reminder. I can customize my invites right here. So if I want to put in a subject line for Jennifer, like please review. Okay. And then I can put in a message right here. I can customize a subject line for Jackson. Maybe I say, thank you. I just call it thank you. And maybe I say, thank you for allowing me to sell your home. Okay. Here are your forms. Okay. Now, do you have to customize? You do not, right? But if you wanted to do that, you can, as well as if I wanted to do that for put a whole different message for Ellen, I can do that as well. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and save. Okay. So I've saved my customization. I go ahead and I click send. Once I click that send button, my invitations have been sent. It automatically brings me back to my signing page from my transaction, right? It's showing me right here that it's been sent. It also is showing me that nobody has completed it as of yet, right? So here it's showing Jennifer, it's showing Jackson, and it's showing Ellen. Okay. Now let me just show you real quick what they will see. Let me bring it up. Let me refresh. All right. So what they are going to see, they're going to receive an email that's saying your signature is requested, right? And whoever opens it first can go ahead and begin signing because I didn't put in a signing order. Right here, Jackson, because I didn't again put in a signing order, he's going to receive the email as well. And then he can click on start signing and he can go ahead and start signing the forms and the documents and everything like that. Here's where the customized messages right here. Thank you for allowing me to sell your home. Here are your forms. All he would do is click on that start signing and he would go through the process as well. He would need to, of course, acknowledge that he's signing this as well, that this is a e-signing. He can click the start button or the reject button right here. I'm just going to do it real quick because I want to show you. And then he also can change out the styling that he wants as well. Okay, so he's going to go through, set the signing, and go through real quick. All right, right now, and once he's completed the signing, right? He also has where, hey, you can, how did it go? Okay, and let me refresh over here. Now my status is showing that 1 of 3 has completed the documentation and it shows me who completed it, which was Jackson. Okay, so that is a complete walkthrough of how to complete a transaction. We walked through doing a listing together. Before I look at the questions, and I think there was a lot of questions as well, that right over here, I wanted to show you the question mark right here. When you click on that question mark, no matter where you are, here is our help. Okay, you can contact us by phone, and I generally recommend that you put this in your cell phone, right? And the reason why I generally recommend that you do that because our support team is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Okay, so if you are a person, a night owl, and you're working on a transaction at 2 a.m. on a Saturday, and you have a question about something, our support team is there to support, all right, to help you. You can also email tdsupport@lwolf.com. We have live support right here as well, which is where you would select transaction desk, right? And you can chat with us, chat with our support team as well. You can send us feedback. So if you are having, it's just feedback or you have a suggestion or you feel like there's a bug in the system, you can report that. We have guides out here as well, which is really nice. You'll be able to come out here and let me pull up, hold on. these are our topic lists and some of the articles, but we also have hot topics out here. We have it broken down for agents where it helps you get started. And again, we talked about a lot in one little 1 hour session, but we have these broken down into smaller segments so that you can have, here's that Athenasign that I was talking about, where you can just quickly go there and take a look at smaller segments, right? Because we talked about a lot in this 1 hour. And of course, we don't expect you to remember all of that. Also, we have help videos out here as well. And these are, remember I was telling you they have those 2 minute, 3 minute videos, some 52 seconds, how to access your account, how to create a transaction. We just did this in a little bit over an hour, but he quickly goes through it in 1 minute and 15 seconds, right? So uh, default dashboard, he quickly goes through it in 2 minutes. So you can kind of come out here and take a quick look at a video out here just as a quick reminder of the things that you can do. So a lot of good information right here. Again, not expecting you to remember everything today. We will be sending you the recording, but we wanted to make sure you are aware of all of the options that you have available. So I'm going to stop sharing one moment and take a look at, there were a lot of questions. I know we're already over time, so um, I see that some of them have already been answered. Okay, there are a lot of questions. So what I'm going to do is I will respond to all of the questions via email because I'm already over time and I don't want, we like to respect your time as well. So uh, I will respond to all of your questions via email and get them over to you. If there's some that I need to do step by steps, I will include that in the email as well so that I can make sure that you guys are aware of how to do certain things that you're asking here as well. Does that work for everybody? So I would definitely respond to every question that we have. All right, perfect. So I will send over the recording, the webinar. One thing, let me just show you one more thing before I let you guys go. And thank you so much for your patience today. I know I had to put myself on mute a couple of times with this darn cold. So hold on, let me share just real quick. Just wanted to give you um, additional emails here. Phone number for our support team, right? This is just straight to support. The number that's in the system, that's the one that I would suggest that you go ahead and put in your phone because that's the number that they are available 24 hours a day. Okay. And then also you can email them. Our sales team, if for whatever reason you need to reach out, but this is the one I want you to take a look at as well and write that down. tdtraining@lwolf.com. That is our department. If there's any questions like how do I do this or that, send it to this inbox. You guys have my email address as well, but we always suggest you send it to the inbox. That way, if I'm out of the office, one of my coworkers can answer, and we will answer those questions within 48 hours so that you would be able to um, you'll be able to get the answers to your questions that you have. I will send this in the email as well. If you already have your phones out, you can copy the QR code. It's a quick survey of how we did today, what we could do to make it a little bit easier. Again, a lot of information. We don't expect you to remember it all at one time, but we're here for you. Anything that you guys need, we are here for you to answer any questions that you all have. I will include the link when I send over the email as well. So thank you guys so much. Again, thank you for putting up with me with having to go on mute a couple of times. I appreciate you. Our team appreciates you. We hope to see you on additional webinars and have a great, great weekend. I think it's going to be nice in Florida this weekend, so have a great weekend. Bye. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.